up, world? Rich Sabata here from BodegaBody.com. I am here today to talk a little bit about, if you couldn't tell from the title of this episode, a little bit about my personal story, my weight loss story, how I got here, and how I came to founding BodegaBody.com. So, with that said, here we go. So, a little bit over 2 years ago, back in February of 2017, I was about roughly 334 pounds. I was a little bit of a big boy, and I had reached a point in my personal life where I was incredibly depressed. I was going through a bunch of bumps in the road. I had broken up with a girlfriend of almost 2 years, and I was going through a lot mentally and emotionally. I was not very happy with my career. Things weren't necessarily going in my direction, and I lived in a tiny bedroom in a shared apartment, and I wasn't making a lot of money. I just felt really down about myself and about my luck and about my situation. And most of my entire life, I didn't necessarily think much about my weight, and I didn't think much about how much I had been letting myself go. And kind of one night, I was sort of in a situation where I was by myself. I was drinking and I was smoking weed, and I had essentially eaten an entire pizza. And I looked at myself and I was like, this is not the life I want to live. And I told myself that this wasn't the life that was going to be for me. It was sort of a low point and a moment where I realized, okay, now is the time for things to change for myself, and now is the time to make a real difference if I want to lead sort of a happy life. So around that time, I received kind of a dare from my brother, who was getting married that summer. So in the summer of 2017, he essentially kind of joked around. He said, are you going to get into tuxedo shape? Are you going to get in shape for my wedding? And I, have always joked around with him, and he was kind of like poking fun at me a little bit because that's just sort of relationship that me and my brother had. He always jokingly, lovingly called me fat boy and chubby, and those things were cute and they were fun. But for some reason, this one time that he joked, it kind of really stuck with me. So the joke that he made kind of clicked something for me. I was like, you know what? I am going to lose weight for the wedding. I am going to try to make some changes in my life, especially considering everything else that had been going on in my head previously. So I had no clue about working out. I didn't know a single thing about fitness. I didn't know a single thing about how you go about, creating a diet. So I kind of started taking little anecdotal things that I would hear people say about cutting sugar out and reducing certain kinds of foods. But it really kind of started is that sort of the next day I woke up before work at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. I went to the gym for an hour, and I did some treadmill stuff. I started playing around with some weights based off of some videos I had seen. And then I scoured the internet, and I did a bunch of research on my own about different workouts to do for different parts of the body, how to work out different parts of the body together to get sort of optimal strength and to get sort of some of the best results. I did actually a lot of reading on bodybuilding.com. I did a lot of YouTube viewing. I watched a lot of Jeff Cavaliere videos, actually, so shout out to Jeff Cavaliere for all the great content that he puts out. That really helped me a lot on my journey. And so then I essentially slowly but surely started seeing results, and I mostly was focused on how I was feeling and how I wanted to feel. It was sort of less about achieving a personal look. It was more about trying to feel better about myself and trying to feel better about my situation. And then, after multiple months, people started noticing the changes that were happening in me, and they were saying, hey, you look good, keep up the great work. And by the time of the wedding, I had dropped 50 pounds, which was absolutely incredible. It felt great. It felt like sort of the first milestone in my fitness journey. And I took it as a victory, but I wanted to continue going. I wanted to continue to see positive results for myself, and I wanted to continue to see great changes, and I wanted to continue to feel better. And little by little, I kept making those progressions, and people kept noticing more and more, and I'd get people reaching out to me on Instagram, on Facebook, saying, "Hey, you look wonderful, keep up the great work." And that was incredibly motivating because, I didn't do it for the positive affirmations that I was getting from people, but because I was getting those positive affirmations, I did feel sort of inherently good about myself. And I definitely don't think that you need other people's positive affirmations in order to feel good for yourself. But, it does feel nice when people notice the positive changes that are happening in your life and the positive changes that you're making for yourself. So that's also good. So, flash forward 2 years, and sort of here I am. I'm down roughly 134 pounds, so I'm, bouncing around the 200s range right now, sort of depending the day, depending the week. And I feel fantastic, and I feel great, and I feel wonderful. And I look back, and I am in such a different place, both for myself, and my career-wise, but also my health. I just feel absolutely fantastic, and it was an incredibly difficult journey, and it was a journey that took a lot of emotional strength, and there were definitely days where I felt like giving up, and I felt like I wasn't sort of doing enough. There were definitely times where I didn't want to go to the gym, and there were definitely times where, I just wanted a cheeseburger, and I allowed myself to have a cheeseburger. I never embarked, what I'm proud of myself for is that I never necessarily embarked on this journey with I want to do this quickly. I want to, follow XYZ diet. For me, it was always about trying to figure out how I could make myself feel good, and do so in an affordable way, because I was doing pretty poorly, sort of money-wise. So it was great to, be able to accomplish that. And now, because of that, I have Bodega Body. And for me, not only is this an outlet for me to tell my story and to share my story with people, but it's also an opportunity for me to give back some of the information that I've picked up along the way, and that I've picked up, over the last couple years in trying to sort of maneuver this fitness space sort of by myself. There's a lot of people who struggle with this, and there's a lot of people who, weren't necessarily raised to eat the right foods, and weren't necessarily raised with the education and with access to the information that they need. Some of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that I didn't know anything about food and nutrition, or how to feed myself, how to take care of my body, how I can, slow the effects of aging. Because, yes, of course, I'm just 26 years old, but, little by little, sitting in an office all day, every day, you kind of start to feel your body age some days. So physical fitness has been a great way to keep my body sort of functioning, and to make my body more functional than it was over all those years. So that's really it for this story, guys. I wrote a full article about this when I first launched the website, so I'll link that down in the description below, so you can go check that out. It is a great feeling to sort of be here and to be able to share this story with people. And I hope that me sharing this information can sort of help someone along their journey, and help someone sort of feel that motivation that they need, just to, get a little kicker out of things, and to be able to make some progress for themselves. Well, until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Rich from bodegabody.com. Hope to see you next time.